Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my performance review of the new Hitman game. Now, in this video, I'll only be taking a look at NVIDIA performance. I actually was running the game on an AMD GPU, but both of the AMD GPUs that I tested had a really weird bug. I don't know if I'm the only one experiencing this issue. I'll put a clip at the end of Hitman running on the XFX R9 380, and you guys can see what was going on. And I really didn't want to capture any footage of that, and I tried for like an hour to fix it. Couldn't fix it. Hopefully a driver or something will fix that. But on my EVGA GeForce GTX 970 and my MSI GTX 950, the game worked enough. How the exact performance is, I'll leave that for you guys to decide. So first of all, I want to take you guys through the settings. There's not too much that you can edit. Obviously, you got resolution. We're running it at 1920 by 1080 VSync. And then you got super sampling, which I kept at 1.0. This is a frame rate destroyer. So if you have a GTX 970, I would recommend just keeping that at 1.0. You got level of detail, anti-aliasing, texture quality, texture filtering, SSAO, shadow maps, and shadow resolution. Also, I am running this game using DirectX 11, so all of that out of the way, let's get right into this with Hitman performance on the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970. So here again are the exact settings that I'm using while running this game on the GTX 970, and you guys can see the exact settings I'm using here. The game is not maxed out, but it is pretty close, and these settings gave the game a playable frame rate. So as far as performance goes, when there's not a lot going on, you're gonna be getting a pretty good frame rate with the GTX 970, around 55 to 62. Very playable frame rates, but the real issues start when there's a lot of people around, a lot of things going on, and a lot of moving parts. Then your frame rate is going to start dipping. With the GTX 970, I actually dipped to 29 frames per second at one point. For a lot of people, that's going to be completely game-breaking. I did only dip to that really quickly, and then it went back up to around 35 to 37. But when there's a lot of things going on and a lot of people on screen, the frame rate is going to go down dramatically. As always, you guys can lower the settings from what I have to get more of a playable experience. But I found that with these settings, the game was playable enough, and for the most part, I had a pretty good experience. And as far as my thoughts on how the GTX 970 performed on Hitman, I was actually a bit disappointed. I was expecting a little better performance, but hey, it is what it is. Moving on to the GTX 950, you guys can see the settings I use for that GPU here. I had to lower the settings quite a bit from the GTX 970. Again, the game still looked pretty good. And while there wasn't a lot going on screen, the frame rate was hovering around from 32 to 36. But once again, when you get crowds of people and a lot of things going on, the frame rate is going to dip. And with these settings on the GTX 950, I dipped all the way down to like 25 frames per second. Yeah, that was pretty bad. But if you were to lower the settings to try to get a better frame rate, at that point, the game is also going to start looking pretty bad. So with a lower end video card like the GTX 950, you're really not going to get a good experience out of Hitman. So that's going to wrap up the NVIDIA performance review of the new Hitman game. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I am going to transition onto this R9 380 gameplay of Hitman, and you guys can see the shadow flickering nonsense that was going on. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't let you through looking like that, okay? Please leave the area.